So we're just waiting to let everyone come back in. I tried to time that. I needed 60 more seconds. So I just want to have someone show their answer, see if we have any questions. Charles, you're sharing your answer?
Yes.
Sure.
Mhm. I just put, I did a giant if statement to see if number 1 was less than number 2, and then if it was, I swapped them, and then if it wasn't, I didn't swap them.
Cool.
And I just checked if the answer was correct. And I put these numbers at the bottom to see which number was which.
I see that. Nicely done. And so I see what you did is you didn't actually swap the values within num1 and num2. You just asked your question in reverse order between your if and your else, which is correct. You still did it in a correct way, but in a way differently than maybe others. So here you asked num2 and num1 versus here you did num1 then num2. Nicely done. Any questions on this for Charles? No. Also, what Charles did, which is something we haven't covered yet, because he has mentioned he had studied some Java, is he actually employed, he used nested if-else statements, which is coming up on Thursday. The idea of here he has an if statement and an else statement, and here is everything that's inside that first if statement. Here's everything that's inside that second else statement or the matching else statement. But if you notice within that first if statement, so here's that first if statement above with everything inside it. Well, part of what's inside it is another if else statement right there. And so notice you have, so this if statement right here is already indented 4 spaces. And now this print statement is indented in other 4 spaces. And that's all coming on Wednesday. Great job, Charles. So I'm going to clear those. You can stop sharing. And Ibrahim, can you share yours? So so here, another solution, not commented, and should know better. Let's comment our solutions. So here on line 5, he's simply making our 2 random numbers. He made them both on the same line. Line 7, the comment above should be swap the 2 numbers if necessary. Swap the 2 numbers. Well, you should put a space after line 5. Swap 2 values if needed. And put your if needed. Line 11 and 12 are to ask the user the question and scan their answer. And then line 14 and 16, correct or incorrect. Okay, so 2 possible solutions, and we had others as well. So overall, I think everyone got this correct, and it's pretty clear for all of you. Do this, put a thumbs up in the participant window if all of this what we covered today until now is you understand it at least 90% or better. In the participant window, if you understand everything we've covered 90% or better. Thumbs up. It may be 100%, but if you understand it 90% or better. And no worries if you don't put your thumbs up, but I just want to state the names so I can actually, at least maybe you're not listening. So we have Ridwan, we have Farha, we have Mariam Akari. So if you think that something's not clear, please take the opportunity and ask on Slack. I don't see any discussion on Slack about the replets. Maybe that makes sense because I don't see people doing the replets. And so go listen to that message we shared earlier. This is a great opportunity for you. I mean, you can learn a programming language that's pretty easy to learn that we teach to college students, and some of you are anywhere from 12 years old to 16, 17 years old, and you can already have it learned and knocked out. So, but you have to do the work. You have to actually go kick the ball. So I'd encourage you to do those replets, even if you didn't, of course, do them previously. There will be new ones opening up today. I believe at 2 o'clock they're scheduled to open. So there's new replets opening up today, which are taking advantage and requiring the use of if and else and Boolean expressions. And those are going to get a little bit tough because I think a lot of them either this week or next week will be using, it's solving like chess problems and trying to find matching pieces. Can this knight move to this position based off of knowing how a knight moves in chess in that L shape and stuff like this. So it's a lot of problem solving. You have to actually think, and it's fun. So if any of you like Rubik's Cubes or you like problem solving or puzzles, here it's going to actually start to get a little bit fun because you have to use your brain. That's all I had for you. I could keep going, but I want to be cognizant of the time. We're already into a third session. And the challenge, this is supposed to be a quick boot camp, but the challenge is that with only an hour and 20 or 30 minutes a day, twice a week, there's limited amount of material that we can cover. Because I don't think we're going to be able to cover module 4 this week. I think we would need to have like probably 4 sessions to cover it this week. So it might take us through next week, and we'll see what we end up covering over the 7-week boot camp. Maybe we extend it if y'all would like. Any questions for me? Anyone? Questions on the material? Questions on Replit? Questions on that program assignment? I would encourage y'all to do the programming assignment. Again, more you kick the ball, more you're going to learn. So that programming assignment, which is available, I posted it in Slack under the programming assignment channel right here. I would encourage you, spend a couple hours, probably about 2 hours, knock that out. You're going to be stronger as a programmer as a result. Any questions? Giving a 10-second delay. Yes, Rebecca, hands up.
So I was wondering, if we don't know anything about chess, will you like explain that to us?
Yeah, I mean, so you can put your thumbs down. So, I mean, I could certainly explain it. You could ask questions in Replit, we could answer. But no, it's not going to be complicated questions about chess. So, like, I think in each question, so if one of the questions was, here, I'll even pull it up and show you. Let's see, Replit, teacher, Python Bootcamp. Bear with me. Yep, so these are starting, I think, yeah, today. So this is an easy one, I think. So you'll notice that the question, it already shows. So it says chess rook, which is that piece you can see there on the board, can move either horizontally or vertically. And given 2 squares of the chessboard, determine whether a rook can go from the first square to the second one in a single move. So here is the input example. And the first square is at position 4-4. And so you have to just study the board and realize that position 4-4 is, let me annotate this. So here is the 4th row. Here is the 4th column. You notice it says here 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th column would be next. And so the chess piece is currently right here at 4-4. Where is 5-5? 5-5 is right here. Can the chess piece go from 4-4 to 5-5 if it can only, in one move, if it can only go vertically or horizontally in one move? Of course, in one move, it cannot. And so in one move, it can either only go along that line or along this line. So you have to think about, I'm not going to give the answer yet. The answer on this particular problem is no, based off of that input. But you have to think about how can, what just happened? Bear with me. Annotate, clear all, hit stop. And I saw there's other hands up, just one moment. I'm trying to move this stuff out of my screen. I can't see. Back. Yeah, here we are. I don't know what I clicked. So you have to think about, how do we, given this 4-4 and given this 5-5, how do we determine that the answer is no? Now, if you write it on a piece of paper, you can say, yeah, no way can it go in one move. So you have to think about, what can you do with those 2 numbers using some if and else's. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, these are now going to be a lot of problem solving type problems. The code is short, but it might take you 10 minutes to think about some of these. Let me look at another one, for example. Minimum of 3 numbers. Let's see, what is this? Given 3 integers, print the least of them. So you're going to scan those 3 numbers. You're going to scan the 5, scan the 3, scan the 7 into 3 different variables, and you need to print the smallest one, just using a lot of if and else statements. What else? Let me look at one more. So this is going to be on after so I'm going to put lab 4 problems today. Even, how about, let's look at, but like even odd, minimum of 2 numbers. I mean, that's something pretty basic. You could do that, read in 2 numbers, find the smaller of the 2 numbers. That's pretty straightforward. But so where we're going to get after the Thursday session is where I'm going to put most of these other chess ones. And so here, like the bishop move, it explains that a bishop can move, diagonally across the screen. So towards your question, Rebecca, is, yeah, on each of those problems about chess, it'll first explain how the piece moves, and then you're left answering yes or no, can the move occur? Charles, you had a hand up as well?
Where do you submit the Bootcamp program?
Yeah, you're not going to submit that anywhere. I might mess with it and see if I can add it as a replit problem. I can try that, and if it's not too difficult, I will. Otherwise, you would not submit that anywhere. My intention, because I'm not going to grade it, but maybe, I mean, because basically you'll know if you want to know, well, what would my grade have been as a college student? Well, I'll answer you by stating if you have it correct. If your output matches, right? Then you know that you would have had it correct. So when I click on this, if you run your program, so it's space for space, everything's the same. You read all those inputs, your formatted printing is lining up nicely. Okay, so you should use formatted printing for all of these things. So based off of reading those inputs, you come up with this exact, what is it called? Rent-A-Car Weekly Annual Report. You come up with this exact report with those exact numbers. There's only one other criteria that points would have accounted for is to make sure that you had a very nicely commented program. So comments are usually at least 10% of your code. So if you had a code that was 300 lines of code and you had 30, 40, 50 lines of comments, then just rest assured that you would have had a high grade, probably 100. But I may, if I have the time, I may try to put this in as a replit with other numbers, so it can test based off of different inputs, and we'll see how that works. I may try that. Ibrahim, do you have a question?
Not a question, but just a suggestion, I'll sort of say. I remember earlier you were asking how you could enlarge the icons in Thani.
Sure.
And that's done by going to Tools, Options, General, and then you have a little pop-up box that's called UI Scaling Factor. If you just click that,
Tools,
you can scale
Options, General, pop-up box, UI Scaling Factor. Nice.
and you can just like scale your icons up or down.
It didn't just work for me.
You have to restart Thani once you're done.
It does say after those options. Cool. So if I close Thani, do I want to save changes? Yes. And then I restart Thani. I don't see anything, but I'll look at it. Or maybe it just got smaller. I don't know. Maybe because I only put to 1.5. Cool. Okay. I will see y'all. I don't see any other hands up. So I will see y'all on Thursday. Hopefully you'll be able to knock out a lot of the replets if you want to keep up with the material. Take care. Stop share and end meeting.